Hi church, my name's Heather and I have the privilege and I'm really excited actually to be sharing this scripture with you today. It's from Psalm 145. So I'm going to go from verses 2 to 7 and then you can go on to read 1 4 6 yourself. So God is magnificent. He can never be praised enough. There are no boundaries to his greatness. Generation after generation stands in awe of your works. Each one tells the stories of your mighty acts. Your beauty and splendor have everyone talking. I compose songs on your wonders. Your marvelous doings are headline news. I could write a book all about the details of your greatness. The fame of your goodness spreads across the country, and your righteousness is on everyone's lips. Wow, what a scripture. It's all about the goodness and the splendor and the greatness of God, which I absolutely love. And it talks about, that those stories going from generation to generation. Well, how's that going to happen? That's going to happen if we remember the stories and tell. So we have to remember and tell. That's all we have to do. It's quite simple, really, isn't it? Remember the stories. What are you talking about around your table? What are you talking about to your friends and family? Are you gathering together and sharing and talking about the greatness of God, the miracles, the creation? Evidence of him is all around us, his beauty and his splendor, and he deserves all of our praise, doesn't he? So I'm going to remember now and tell you a story. So going back last year, because me and my husband have the privilege of visiting other locations, we went to Siem Reap and we went to, which is in Cambodia. And I remember sitting around these huge tables with about 18 couples who had all been saved, and their families and their marriages had been rescued, and each one took it in turn to go around the table and to tell their story and the greatness of God and what he'd done and the transformation in their lives. It was truly miraculous. I will never ever forget that night. The tears that were shared around that table, tears of joy and tears of hope, and to be part of that and to hear those stories and to be able to tell those stories like I'm telling you today, that is not normal. It was miraculous. And there are stories from week to week. I mean, I could tell you so many stories of miraculous things that I've seen and heard in my life. And that is something I find such a privilege that we get to do, is to remember and tell those stories to our children and our grandchildren, to those generations. And you might think, well, I haven't got grandchildren and I haven't got children yet, but there's people in all of us, isn't there? There's people in our lives that we get to meet and share with. And it always makes me think of this little Russian doll that has people, and each little doll has another doll inside, and that represents the generations that are to come until we get right down to the tiny one. And, but it's our responsibility to remember and tell the next generation about the splendor and the greatness of God. So I want to charge you, church. I want to charge you today. What are you talking about around the table? Who are you sharing with, and what are you sharing with them? The greatest, best movie that's out at the moment, or the greatest gadget that you found recently? Let's share and talk about the stories of God so that they get passed down through the generations. I just love that. And I'm going to boast about the things of God and the miracles that I've seen until I get to eternity. And, it goes on to say then in chapter 147 that, who are we putting our trust and our hope in? Because Jesus is the only one that saves. And he is the one that we need to put our faith and trust in today. So, church, I want to charge you, remember and tell the great stories. You all have an amazing story, and so go and share it with someone today. Thanks for listening. Love you, church.